What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey. And today we're going to talk about the NBA Eastern Conference play-in tournament matchup between the Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls. All right, so this line is currently at 221.5 for the over-under. Chicago -3. When you're looking at these two teams, you got to look at the injury report first, of course. So for Atlanta, you got Seth Lundy out. Wesley Matthews is questionable, still battling that right hamstring soreness, and is unknown if he'll face the Bulls in the Eastern Conference play-in tournament. Okongwu out. Jalen Johnson, which is key for them, out. And Sadiq Bey out. Reason Jalen Johnson's so important for them, that man plays defense and he can score. It's very key for them considering how porous their defense is. And when you're talking about Chicago, Chicago's got Dasunmu out, or no, I'm sorry, not out. He's questionable. Is bothered by a right quad contusion and is undetermined if he will face the Hawks in the Eastern Conference play-in. Andre Drummond, he's questionable. He's hindered by a left ankle sprain. And, of course, Zach LaVine out, Patrick Williams out, Lonzo Ball out, and Benham will be out for Chicago. So let's look at the matchup for these two teams. All right, so Atlanta's coming in here with the number 5 overall offense in the NBA, scoring 118.3 points per game, whereas Chicago's got the number 16 defense in the NBA, scoring or giving up 113.7. All right, and then when you look at in the opposite or inverse, Chicago's offense is ranked 22nd in the NBA, giving up 112.3 points per game, whereas Atlanta, their defense is 28th in the NBA, giving up 120.5 points per game. Atlanta's ranked 19th against the fast break. They have no advantage there. Chicago, they're number 6 against the fast break. Chicago's number 1 against point in the paint, so no advantage there. And when you're talking Atlanta, points in the paint or fast break, they're 28th against fast break and 25th against points in the paint. So they give it up all day, every day, man. Okay, which could be a problem for Atlanta because of the fact that Chicago is a mid-range team that likes to get to the paint. Okay, and Atlanta's 2-point defense is 27th in the NBA. Their 3-point defense is 28th. Which it doesn't matter because Chicago's 3-point offense is 20th in the NBA, and their 2-point offense is 21st. So, like I said, this is going to be a mid-range J game for Chicago. As far as quarterly, the only quarter that Chicago really buckles down on defense, to be honest with you, is that second quarter. They're number 1 in the NBA in defense in the second quarter. The rest of the quarters, they're like either 15th to 19th. So it's not like they're playing lockdown defense all game long. And of course, we all know Atlanta, they struggle all game. All game long. They're 26th in first quarter, 24th in second quarter, 29th in third quarter, and 29th in fourth quarter points that they give up per game. Okay. Now, the reason that's important, okay, is because in the last 10 games, Chicago runs this 6-4, and that's why, because they don't play enough defense, man. So far this season, these two teams have played 3 times, and it's Chicago 2-1. Atlanta did win the last one, the same way with against the spread. Chicago 2-1, and Atlanta also covered in the last one. Against the spread, Chicago runs this series 7-3 in the last 10, and it's 4 to the over, 5 to the under, with 1 push in the last 10 times these two teams have matched up. These two teams are coming in the last 10 games, though, limping. Atlanta's 3-7 straight up in their last 10 games, 3-7 against the spread, and 7 to the over and 3 to the under in their last 10 games. Atlanta's coming in on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game losing streak, guys. They've only covered one time out of the last 7 games that they played. All right. Now, who were they playing? They were playing a murderer's row. They played Dallas, Denver, Miami. Okay, Charlotte's a bum, but they lost to Charlotte, Minnesota, and Indiana in that losing streak. Whereas Chicago comes in, they're 5-5 straight up in the last 10, 6-4 against the spread, and 5 to the over, 5 to the under. They did lose their last game to New York, but they were on a 2-game win streak against some bums, Detroit and Washington. They are on a 3-game cover streak, however, with 4 straight overs in their last 4 games. Okay, and when you look at the last situationally, straight up as a home favorite, Chicago's 10-11, whereas on the road, straight up, Atlanta is 6-7. With equal rest, Atlanta's 20-26, and Chicago is 24-25. When you look against the spread in this situation, as home favorite, Chicago is 8-13. Whereas Atlanta, as an away underdog, they're 10-17. So I mean, it's not too much better, but at least they're a little bit better. Even though, and that's crazy because Atlanta is the worst team against the spread in the NBA. So that's just, can't do nothing but laugh at that one, guys. All right, and then when you talk about equal rest, uh, Atlanta is 14-32 with equal rest, whereas Chicago is 23-26. So in this situation, Chicago does play a little bit better against the spread, slightly in there, but that's not my play yet. All right, so when you talk about over-unders in this situation, you got Chicago as a home favorite. They're 9 to the over, 12 to the under. And Atlanta as an away underdog. They're 14 to the over, 13 to the under. With equal rest, it is 25 to the over, 21 to the under for Atlanta, and 30 to the over, 19 to the under for Chicago, man. Okay, in the last 3 games that these two teams have been out there playing, or in their last 3 games, Atlanta scored 111.7 points per game while giving up 127 points per game. And remember, guys, Atlanta was giving that up to, I mean, some pretty decent teams in their last 3. I mean, it's okay, Charlotte, yeah, they're a bum. But Minnesota and Indiana, both playoff teams. So, and then they gave up 157 points to Indiana in their last game. So you got to also take that with a grain of salt and understand that that's where all those points come from. Give it up 127. That's ridiculous. Average. All right. And then when you talk about Chicago averages 125 points per game in their last 3, and they give up 117 points per game. So Chicago should have no problem scoring this game or getting to the basket and scoring. However, they do play a lot of close games as far as I'm concerned and how Chicago plays. And Chicago at home is not an advantage for them because they score 111.5 points and give up 111.7 points per game at home, whereas Atlanta on the road, they score 114.8 and give up 120.2. All right, so when I'm looking at this game, guys, I always got to come back to the fact that Chicago plays so many close games this season, man. And they just went into double over. They went into overtime in their last game that they played with New York. Even though New York's a great team, they did go into overtime with New York on the final game, the final day of the season. All right, and they are coming in on 4 straight overs. So for this game, I can only look towards the over in this, guys. Now, whether you want to look at it as Chicago Bulls team total over, that's definitely in play. I'll probably lean that way over Atlanta's team total over. I know Atlanta can score and they can put up points with Trei Young out there and DeJounte Murray. Which is why I would take Atlanta with the points. But whichever way you want to lean on team total, I'm definitely leaning towards the over. And either one of the teams' team total over will probably suffice. But I don't know, you guys. You let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope this information helps you. And I'll see you at the window. Peace.